Oh, let's all take a guess. Don't answer, Apollo. But do you know the speed, the maximum speed you would travel on those skates? Don't answer if you know it, but you do. And now I'm guessing a faster speed on a long track versus a short track.
That's correct.
Okay, so should we try to figure out the maximum speed on the long track? Now, this will be Apollo's speed. I do not know if it is the world record or who's gone the fastest. But shall we think about this? Do we want to write a number down?
Oh, God. I mean, I feel that I'm at a disadvantage, but sure, let's come up with something.
Let's see.
Is it miles per hour, obviously?
Yes. Well,
I'm thinking of a car, and now I'm trying to compare it in my head.
yeah, well, you think downhill skiers haul ass, but that's something else. Then you got cyclists go pretty good. That's kind of something else, too. And then runners, sprinters, got kind of that
Top out around 25 to 30 miles an hour.
The runners?
Yeah.
No, I think it's way closer to 20. At least
No.
I think it's like 20. It's like 19 to 23 miles per hour.
They're not cheetahs.
For like sprinters.
Like a guy on they clock NFL running backs in the open field at like 23, 24 miles an hour.
No, they're like 20, 21.
Oh. Well,
I
way
think
off.
Chris can look. All right.
21.
We locked in?
Yeah.
Let's hear the answers. What do you got?
I don't know, but my guess was...
Bullshit. You know everything about speed.
That's right. I guessed 48.
Oh, way higher. It's 75.
Oh, 75.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Brian has big, high hopes
That's
for
amazing.
this shit.
That's amazing.
75.
Yeah,
That's
on
really-
the straightaway? Absolutely.
No, I went 33, but partly I do have a thing where if someone that's my guess what I paid for this sweater? I don't like saying $9 and they go, well, $14, but
It was cheap.
I go a little low so Apollo can impress me when he says 37.
I'm trying to hit it.
I went
It's like
33.
Oh,
I
75 kilometers.
I actually
so-
don't know the miles per hour today, but
Oh.
I think we're somewhere in the range of like 35 to 40.
Wow.
That's fast.
It's fast.
Damn
I think we
fast.
pull like 2.5 to 2.7 G forces every corner.
Like
on one
being
leg.
shot off an aircraft carrier. I just know
Exact
you have
same
to
thing.
say that after every time you talk about a G-force. All right. What do you got, Gina Graham?
Well, I'm going to give a headline, and if you can fill in some of the blanks, that will be great. If not, we will wait for Mark Garrigus. Former UFC heavyweight champion Cain Velasquez has issued a statement for the first time since being arrested on an attempted murder charge. Now, remember, he was arrested in San Jose and booked on an attempted murder charge for a shooting near a local school. One person was shot. Velasquez shot a man who had recently been charged with molesting a close relative.
He shot at a man. I don't know if he hit that guy.
And didn't we find out he thought it was somebody said it was his son? Because remember, they're just saying relative.
Well, Mark's in San Jose right now.
That's why I'm wondering
and
if you
he's
can fill us in.
Calling in half an hour, but
Oh.
you guys aren't going to be here,
No.
but I will. So he's going to catch me up.
Is he representing?
Oh, yes.
Oh boy.
No, yeah.
Well, let me just read the statement, and if you have anything to add, please do. He says, to everyone that has expressed your support, this is Cain Velasquez, my family and I will never be able to thank you enough. From the bottom of our hearts and the depths of our souls, we are forever grateful for your love. Your selfless gestures and kind words have given me strength in my darkest times. This story is complex and slowly unraveling as we speak. To the true victims of this case, may God give you the strength to come forward. Though it is most difficult to relive the pain that has happened to you, in speaking the truth, justice will be served and your own true healing will start. I will never stop helping or loving my community and all of you. Thank you for loving me.
Can you imagine molesting someone and then at some point goes, you know whose kid that was?
Oh.
I don't know.
I mean,
Cain Velasquez. Like
I'm sorry, who now?
The CPA?
the
Come again?
the GOAT of the heavyweight division of the UFC.
Ah, shit.
That's a bad day.
1 in a
for
million
pedophile.
shots.
Of all the kids to molest.
Horrible.
Yes.
That's very tough.
Yeah. Mark's
tough.
out there now doing.
Because what
he's
jury
doing.
would convict him? I mean, going after somebody accused of something like that is something we would all do. We would all want to do.
I would argue if I was the prosecutor, I'd be like, sure, this was a little frontier justice and I get it. How would a dad
Right.
react? On the other hand, who's going to fuck with him in prison?
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean?
He'll
We got to
be all
factor
right.
that in.
Yeah.
He'll do fine. He'll
He'll be running the joint.
I know he's gonna do fine. He for sure will be. He will be celebrated,
Yes.
right? Because aren't most prisons like they have like a zero tolerance policy for
the chomos.
child molesters?
Yeah.
and-
Yeah, well, if you do the math, if they have zero tolerance for the molesters,
Plus-
then the folks
Yeah.
that shot at those guys should be hailed.
Plus, he's a star anyway.
He has a
he's a
huge
badass.
tat that
Yeah.
says "Brown Pride" on his chest.
He'll be welcomed with open arms.
Yeah, he's not going to be like, let's go get him by the handball courts. That's not going to work out well if
Right.
you're in prison.
I hope the prosecutor isn't listening to this.
Well, they may.
Okay. Let's talk a little Trudeau.
Wait, breaking
Yeah.
news. Fastest time clocked on an NFL field?
Mm.
I said between 23 and 24.
You said 25, I think, at the beginning. I think.
Oh, God.
That was your initial, was 25.
23.24 by Tyreek Hill.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
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 the
insane.
fastest. Yes,
that's
but that's not
insanely fast.
the. Okay. Okay. All right.
Point taken.
Yeah.
Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has announced something that I'm not. I would like to come to California, so we'll see what your thoughts are on this. He's announced a ban.
He would?
Why do
Oh,
you have
I-
that?
ban?
I would like what he's about to
Oh,
do
okay.
to come.
Not him physically.
Well, I mean,
We already
he
got
does.
fucking Gavin Newsom.
He's
We
a
got
little
enough
dreamy,
trouble
but I
over
hear
here.
you. I get it. He's announced a ban on foreign investors from buying homes in Canada for 2 years in a bid to cool off a very hot housing market. That's according to the AP. So you can't just come in there from a different country and just flip it for fun, and it's not going to work over there.
Didn't they try to do this in Vancouver years ago, and it just did not work?
Oh,
It's hard to
really?
enforce, I would imagine.
Well,
Like
that,
real estate
yeah.
investors from Asia are very creative.
Sure.
Very
Yes.
creative.
Well,
They-
it's,
yeah.
To your point, I was just listening to something about sanctions on oligarchs. Okay, so the guy himself can't buy the $4 million painting, but he'll get it if he wants it. So
Yeah,
it might be the
Chinese
same.
bought up a lot of Vancouver.
Yes.
If you've ever
All of
been out
Vancouver.
there. Yeah, all of Vancouver.
Yeah. First, it was people from Hong Kong during the handover, 1997.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was Taiwanese people from Taiwan.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was all the mainland people who wanted to get their money out.
Mm.
It's I mean, the real estate prices that there have been like double digits for like well over like a decade. It's insane there.
Yeah, the problem with us trying to fix problems, it's like the problem is as I always say, the business people are smarter than the government
Right,
people.
right.
So then they go, we're going to fix this problem. We're going to enact rent control. That rent control is going to save. And then the buildings start falling apart because the guys who own them don't want to put any money into their sinking ship. And then then you end up with people like, I've lived in this bachelor in Santa Monica for 41 years. And you didn't go buy your own house because rent
Congratulations.
was too cheap and you could see the ocean. And it just has a whole bunch of stuff that never seems to work,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But
And it always feels late, right?
Yes, of
it
course.
always feels like 6 months to 12 months late for every and that's just policy. In
Yeah,
general,
getting the
but
horse
it's,
back in the barn.
sluggish, right?
Yeah.
Like,
right.
CPI was printed yesterday, I think or today at 8.5%. It's like the highest on record in 40 years. The real number is probably 12% or 15%. Like that's
Inflation.
insane. Inflation.
Yeah, it's.
That's crazy, right? It's
I don't know. I thought it was transitory, but I guess not.
Well,
I never know if they know everything or they just do what the airlines do, which is the flight's delayed 2 hours.
Yeah,
All right, tell
20
me every
minutes.
20 minutes. Like
Another
they go,
20
what's with the
minutes.
inflation? That's just transitory. It's going to pass real quick. And then you go, what's with the inflation? Oh, it's Putin. He started a war over there. It's just going to, when that thing winds down.
cools
Well,
off, yeah.
I don't know if they just give it to us in bite-sized morsels or what's going on, but
I think people are getting much smarter than that was 20 years ago. The access to information
Sure.
is much different, right? And people, I think, trust levels have probably gone probably the lowest all time since probably the
probably.
40s and 50s.
I guess. I mean, if you look no further than, the CDC or the FBI, I was like, if it's the CDC or it's the CIA, it's of course, they're impenetrable. They're
Why would
must
they
trust.
lie?
Why would they lie about anything? Why then now I'm like, not so fast.
not so fast,
Yeah.
FBI.
Yeah, I'm going. One of the things Mark wanted to get into was that whole Gretchen Whitmer, governor of Michigan.
Oh, yeah, the
case.
kidnapping,
Yeah.
attempted kidnapping.
Remember, that was just some militia group was going to,
Yeah.
mostly FBI guys.
Wait, FBI guys who did a little light militia work on the side, or from the FBI?
The FBI and FBI informants got the whole plan together.
Oh, so there was a plan, but it was by
FBI.
Jesus.
The guys who've been acquitted, two
Right.
of them now, and then two or whatever hung, they didn't even know each other before the FBI got involved.
What?
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on out there.
But that's my question. Was it like an FBI, like a 9 to 5 FBI thing, or a little after work checkout? We're in this militia that we like so much. I'm just trying to figure out what the.
Or is it like the Black Klansman thing where you have someone in these groups and they're connecting them to, because like, hey, your guy's trying to kidnap rich women, my guy's trying to
Yeah, what are we talking? Do we know?
Well, first off, they acquitted two of the guys. So, and the other two maybe hung jury. I don't know. Chris can look it up. I was going to talk. Mark wants to talk about it in
I want to hear that.
28 minutes. But the FBI gets agitators, and they're informants, and some of them are FBI, and then some of them are just informants for the FBI. And they put them places, and they kind of go like January 6th was like the same thing. There's a bunch of FBI guys going, we got it. And then they go, who's coming along with us? And if you go along with them.
So it's like bait car.
Yeah, well, it's like it started with the terrorist. You know, you get the FBI guy, you go to the mosque. You sit at the mosque and you go, hey, man, I don't like that Brooklyn Bridge that much. It's blocking my view. And then they go, and some other guy pipes up and goes, yeah, I think I'd like to take that down too.
We should do something about that.
All right, well, let me get your number. And we have a meeting. And we do this for a while. And the next thing you know, there's 13 guys from the mosque who agreed to blow up the Brooklyn Bridge. And now we get them, which is that's just fine to some degree.
Okay. So,
but
it's more of an entrapment situation because I thought, Gina and I thought like the FBI was trying to kidnap Gretchen Whitmore.
No,
right. So someone was watering the seed.
Got it.
Right. There's like probably like this. There's like some like unnerving of like unsatisfactory like psychology. It's like, I don't like what's happening in this country. I don't know what's happening in my state.
Let's see if
and
we
then
can
someone's
agitate.
like, yeah, you're right. You know, you should probably do something about that, bro.
If
like, you know, this is like, you know, you're an American. You cannot let this happen to you, right?
Yeah,
like that type
I mean,
of
I think it's sort of like the undercover guys a little bit, and the wife wants to put a hit on the husband, but they're talking to the FBI guy. But this is the FBI inciting it.
Wild.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, that's why you're not going to hear that much about it in the news anymore. It was all in the news when it happened.
Right. It was a big deal.
The trial's going down,
Yeah.
and it's like not hearing much about it.
Right.
That's how you know it's not what they want.
Interesting.
Yes. Interesting.
Well, let's talk about a bill being considered in California that would shorten the work week from 40 hours to 32 hours for companies with more than 500 employees. So a 4-day work week with 5-day pay. And according to the proposed bill, employers could not reduce salary because of the reduced hours. The workday would still be 8 hours, but any hours over 32 in a week would have to be overtime pay.
That sounds like a recipe for like, hey, let's go win Olympic medals, but you only have to train 3 days a week.
Yes.
I like the cut of his jib.
That's what I did with Julian Huff.
That's what you tried to hack the system.
That's how you get ninth place,
That's
everybody.
Right. That's right.
He's like, look, I'm not going for podium. I'm going for top 10. Okay? Just know the goals here.
That's right.
And he met it.
That's wait. So you get paid for 40, but you only do 32 hours of work.
Yeah. So the workday.
So what's the psychology behind this? To have like a better like health balance with like your family? Or
what I
like,
think
what's
it comes from is
like, who pays for that? Like excess.
Apollo's got questions, and I appreciate it. But I think the answer is from the lockdowns when everyone was working remotely and realized they could do more, you know, at home or do it whatever
they were
in a
working
shorter
more.
amount of time.
But they were working more.
Yeah.
There was no people who, unless you had money, people who were working from home. It was a very stressful like year. Because you have to juggle all of the ancillary stresses in your life. For the first time, you're around your spouse more than probably you signed up to be.
And your kids.
And like there's no separation between your drive to work to prepare your mind, your drive home to decompress. I don't know if I subscribe to that. And now look, I'm sure some people can be very efficient and effective with less work, and the more rest gives them more ability to perform at the highest level.
Sure.
But I would say on average, like most of the world is not going in that direction.
Well, it's funny you should say that because my other thought was we're all looking to Europe and going, they get like 3 months off every summer and they seem pretty happy. So like we're trying to baby step into like that kind of lifestyle.
We're not European. We're American, right? So like psychologically,
Again.
Yeah, we
Americans have always been. I don't know. Like for me, I feel like, like Europeans always make fun of Americans. Oh, you guys don't have any history and culture. But our culture and history is deeply rooted in change and innovation and hard work and like the Americana dream. Like that is our culture, right? That's embedded in what we believe in.
Yeah.
And a part of that process is this like underlying belief of like, I don't care what it takes. We're going to get it done. I'm going to figure it out. And,
that's funny you mentioned that. So obviously it changes job to job, right? We're none of us are in the corporate world per se, but it changes job to job. The fallacy of the 40-hour work week or the 5-day work week is pretty silly because as maybe you're aware, maybe we know, like you get paid X if you're in the corporate world to do the job, whatever the job is. And it's rarely 40 hours. Of course, there's jobs that are, but it's rarely 40 hours. You're taking calls at night or you're working on the weekend, whatever it is, you're getting paid X to do the job. And if you can do the job in 32 hours or 30 hours or 41 hours, whatever it is, you earned X. You know what I mean? Like it isn't, I'm paying you that's an hourly wage. That's a different thing. We're talking about getting paid to do the job.
Well, you have to also think about this. Like the guys who really work, like the construction guys, they just work. They just work all day. But there's also a thing that I don't think most people really know, which is, when I used to do construction, it was just started at 7, it ended up at 3:30, sometimes 4:30 if you work 50-hour week or whatever. You never worked less than a 40-hour week. And all you did was work. Like if you saw someone sitting, it would have been weird.
Right.
And they would have got yelled at.
They better have something broken.
If you saw someone standing and just like looking at something, reading something, if someone would have walked by and went, what the fuck are you doing? Get the fuck back up on the ladder. Like it was work straight through. So now there's work, but how much of the time that you're there, everyone's got a phone.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to check my Roto League and my
can run out
fantasy
the clock a
football or
little,
whatever.
yeah.
I'm going to call my wife or whatever it is. There's like business. People are doing sort of business within the work.
Sure.
So now it's kind of hard to really define. You drive a forklift and you work down at the docks, you just work.
Right.
That's it. And then you get a half-hour break and then you work again. It's murky now. Like who is really actually working for how long?
Somebody's playing Roblox when he's operating the forklift. I don't know if that's the best.
Right.
We were talking about that at the beginning of the interview. It's tangible versus intangible.
Right.
So they're going to have to figure that out or not. Either way, I'm thinking Apollo for governor?
Yeah.
I can't handle the politics. But I understand the psychology of what they're trying to do. I mean, it makes sense. They're like, look, we think that we can do this in a better way. We want to take care of our people. But I don't know, man. I think that like with the current, I think about this stuff all the time. I love to read history, right? I think that we're always good predictors of like our human behavior conditioning to like repeat it again. And the U.S. has never had like a big threat like we've had right now, right, with one of the other superpowers in the world. And that superpower is dedicated towards outworking, outsupplying, outmaneuvering all aspects of the economic environment. And we in this country...
We're talking China.
Talking China.
Right.
So we in this country are thinking about, like, we're modern, we've got incredible, like, resources here. We have everything. But in that process, over time, I think, comes like a sense of softness, of comfort. And people who come to this country, they come typically from areas or parts of the world where they don't have those creature comforts. They don't have that softness. It's a hard-edged dog-eat-dog. It's very tough. And so I think what we see today is like a big dichotomy of people who say like, oh, these people are taking my jobs, and the other people are saying like, oh, we're losing all this access of what's actually happening. But it's just we live in a different world, I think, in this country, and we have a lot of creature comforts. So like, I don't know, like when we were in the training center, when I won my first medal, Adam, like I had, I made some money. I could have easily moved out of the Olympic Training Center, out of the dorm rooms, and I could have gotten a house and lived like a much different life. But there was like something embedded in me. I think some track and field sprinter said it. I don't know who, but said like, train as if you were broke, right? Like keep that psychology of, you win medals. I always kept them in the sock drawer. And I think for us in this country, we are always at this like interesting tipping point, right? We typically always go to the edge of like, I don't know, it feels like chaos. And then we pull back and we kind of reunite again. And now it feels like we're very much on the edge, maybe beyond the edge. And we're playing with this fire where we have to figure out like what is going to be the best thing for our communities, for our families, as a nation. Like, what do we stand for? What do we believe in? And there's like big dichotomy of belief systems now that are like very polarizing.
Well, I'm worried. See, I would approach it differently. So I think we treat work, the word work, like we treat the word fat.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's good.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
Not something to be avoided.
You have to get away from it. My
Right.
family's like, work, oh man, work, and then life's a bitch, you know, you work and then you die, and you know, it's like working for the man. There's like, and so we go, well, we don't like work, so let's see if we can do the least amount of work we can do, but still have, so there's a couple fallacies. This sort of thing is like, oh, well, people didn't work as much. They'd have time to do art and interpretive dance. Yeah, they're going to beat off and they're going to drink.
Yeah, we did that experiment for 2 years.
It doesn't fucking work.
Yeah.
They're not all fucking Warhol. They go and they watch too much TV and they get angry and they get into Twitter battles. So this notion of like free people up to explore their artists, fallacy, number one. Number two, I would be saying, like, let's try to change our relationship with work. Hey, kids, what if you had a job you liked? What if you approached it in a different way? What if there were challenges, but things to overcome? You know, I mean, people always say to me, like, well, you work so much. You always working. I was like, oh, I like working. I enjoy it. I get to do things. I get to interact with people.
Look what our work
travel.
is.
This is my work. It's not a bad thing, you know? And so let's really like focus on what work is instead of trying to trim work down to a 9-hour work week. Let's just go. You do what you love. You'll never be on the clock. You'll just be doing what you love. Let's see if we can change the relationship with work.
Do you think that comes from leadership in your organization or team or group? Or, I mean, obviously internal leadership is important, but like, do you think that comes from the top down, not only from government and policy, but also like in the organization?
I think it starts probably in the educational in school, which is like, instead of going, you've got to learn a trade or you've got to get a degree or it's like what do you want to do? What do you do? What do you take a fish and you throw them in the desert, they're not going to do very well. And if you take a lizard and throw it in the ocean, it's not going to do it. It's not the ocean and the desert that's good or bad. It's like, what are you suited for?
Right.
What should you do? When I was doing super repetitive, boring, working the grill at McDonald's, I was going out of my mind. I didn't even know why I was going insane. I felt like I was going insane. And it was like, because I was meant to talk to people and interact and share ideas. I didn't know it, but somebody could have pulled me out and went, you're not supposed to be digging ditches. You should be a tour guide at Universal Studios. You would be much more comfortable doing that job.
But if it was a comfier job and you didn't go so insane, you might still be there.
Yeah, I think I would have taken the tour guide thing and tried to parlay it into, maybe
like
the rat at Chuck E. Cheese or something like that.
Charles Entertainment Cheese is his name, by the way.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cheese for entertainment.
Yeah,
that makes sense. I like that.
I think let's change our relationship with work. All right, let's bring it home, Gina Grad.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news. Shut up!
Gina Grad. That was the news with Gina Grad.
I got more work to do, but that work is talking to Mark Garagos about Cain Velasquez.
And FBI agents want to kidnap Gresham Whitmore.
What you'd be doing anyway.
That's my work. All right. You can go to adamcarolla.com, see me working in Indianapolis. Helium Comedy Club, that's May 6th and 7th. Then we're going to Huntington Beach. We're going to Sea Lakes. We're doing more work over there. That'll be
Work on the weekends.
You gotta punch in.
On point exactly.
Yeah, I gotta go hang out with Bill Maher, and then we gotta go to Huntington Beach and tell jokes in front of people who enjoy us. Everyone loves Bill Maher, I think. Well,
I don't know about that.
Nah, you're right.
Different sitcom.
I love him.
I think everyone respects Bill Maher, and I would say better to be respected
I don't think anyone
than
thinks he's a
adored.
phony. You know what I mean? He
Yes.
says exactly what he believes.
Yeah.
And that is in short supply these days. So just the fact that whatever comes out of his mouth is whatever he believes.
Authenticity.
That is enough. Hard pivot, embrace change, find purpose, show up fully. Available now. It's Apollo's book on Amazon or wherever you find finer books.
That's right.
That's my thing. Apolo Ohno, thank you so much for coming
guys.
out.
Thanks for having me.
Love talking to you. And until next time, Sandra Kroll for Apolo Ohno and Gina Grad and Paul Bryan saying mahalo. It's not, if you send a tweet out, we don't really need a picture of the guy who sent the tweet out.
I think if Martians landed and dug through our stuff and said, okay, what was this terrible villain Gilbert Gottfried? He made a joke? Well, he was a comedian. Don't they make jokes?